morning. I know some of you started to comment and watch a little video I put up last night about Bear and the brothers bringing us wood, but there was some information in there that shouldn't have been in there, and so I've got to edit it, and I will repost that later. But Bear brought up a really good point in the video, and it was a bit that got cut out right in the middle, which I regret. I thought he was done talking, so I turned the video off, but he was just taking a pause and he was on a roll. And the point he was making, and I think it's a really good one, is the lone wolf syndrome. And I know he's addressed it, I'm sure, in videos. My husband's addressed it in videos. But as we get older, it's becoming more and more relevant to us. Because when you're young, when you're like 20, 30, even 40, physically, if you're, a normal human and you haven't been abusing yourself, you've got a lot of energy and a lot of capability to do things, especially if you've been gathering skills, if you've been volunteering for a fire department or a police department or got EMT or, took some gardening classes or did gardening or animal handling, etc. You can handle most things. And I was reminded of this lone wolf syndrome when I was watching, it's by David Paulides. He did the Rescue 411 series, books, now movies or videos online about people's disappearances that I won't say they're usually not solved and unsolved. Most of the time they're in some kind of national forest, mountainous area. God forbid anything happen here. And it'll be people with skills. I mean, it's all sorts of people, but the little kids and medium age people. But the episode I watched was about hunters, very skilled outdoorsmen. But when they go out in the woods, they might have a disability, might have just gotten over an illness, or still have an illness. A lot of times around a bad weather forecast, either before or after or even during their disappearance. The first story he covered was an older gentleman, 82 years old, who was only 100 yards away from his hunting buddies, and they heard one weird noise in the woods, and then he would disappear. And they couldn't find him, and they had huge searches all over the place, never found him. And he did have some disabilities. He had an injured eye, which means his depth perception wasn't really great, and he also had hearing issues. So even if people were calling for him, he may not have heard him. Okay, roll that back to I'm the lone wolf. I can do everything on my own. I can handle my area, my situation. I don't need to interact with other humans. And trust me, I get it. Interacting with people can be very messy. Now, I know a lot of you watch Bear and my husband, retired Pastor Joe now. They have a very positive outlook. They try to keep it positive because that's the best way to deal with other people, is to be positive. If my husband says it, influence people and make friends. It is a book, and the concept in the book is get the other person talking about themselves. Show interest in the other person. That makes that person open up. And then when they open up, you both are sharing, hey, I like this guy. I found out I have things in common with this person. So the positive outlook is the way to deal with other humans, to show interest in them, to reinforce, not their view of themselves, but to agree with them and find common ground and have things you can discuss. And yeah, we both like to eat popcorn. Let's get together sometime and have some popcorn. And as you get older, when you're younger, it's usually the people you're attracted to. Maybe you're looking for your spouse, etc. But as you get older, like us, it's more our interests that we connect. It's not necessarily, oh, that person's attractive or whatever. It's that, hey, they have a lot in common with me. We have a lot to discuss. We can enjoy things, similar things, movies, going out to eat, working in the garden, raising animals together. So the lone wolf concept, while one person can have a lot of skills, they absolutely can and can be self-sufficient for a long period of time, there is going to come up something. And Bear brought this up. Uh, Twisting your ankle when you're out in the woods, or even a bigger injury, falling and cutting yourself badly, or dislocating a shoulder. That is so much harder if you're on your own. Not saying you can't deal with it, and you probably will deal with it, but and there are things that can be where you're just not going to be able to. You get your leg, stuck in between two boulders, or a tree falls on you, or a mountain lion attacks you. God forbid, you're not going to be able to, self rescue in some cases. But having someone else that you can contact, having someone else who knows where you are, who knows your plan, who is expecting to hear from you at a certain amount of time, and if they don't, they're going to contact authorities. Um, Having someone else who can help you recuperate if if you are having a hard time walking or standing, or can't use one of your arms, or you're disoriented or whatever. Um, that's why tribe is important. That's why having friends is important. Having some group of friends that you are having common. And as my husband has said before, doesn't necessarily have to be that group of people you always go camping with. It can be your bowling buddies. It can be your quilting club. It can be your um we all volunteer at the animal shelter. We all walk dogs on Thursday morning. As long as you have their contact information, as long as you have a good relationship with them, they are the kind of people who will help you out in a hard time. And the gift of the wood that we got from our friends, our brethren, is a perfect example of them helping out in a time when it might be a little dicey. I was very concerned about how cold it's going to get this winter, and we've been so busy, we haven't been able to put up any wood at all. And so Pastor was just very recently he still is going to process an entire huge old tree that fell down, but that free wood buys us not just up to the point where I was concerned, which was only in a couple months from now, but wow, I think I checked how many, but beyond that, it's enough wood to carry us for a while. And so that's going to let us do other things, other projects, take care of other things like painting these benches that I painted. I'm going to paint them again. We have decks that need painting. We have plants that I'm going to start planting. I'm still killing weeds, etc., etc., etc. So even though you want to be a lone wolf, even though being a lone wolf is more comfortable, push yourself, get outside of your limits, make forays to know your neighbors, know people in your area. The very least, you can volunteer down at the fire department. You can, wash trucks, or you can, like I said, walk, rescue pets or whatever. Just try to plug yourself in. Read books for people who are handicapped. There's all kinds of things you can do in a community. There's always volunteers needed. And if you're a volunteer, then you are definitely going to be appreciated. All right, I'm going to get to it, y'all. Bless you. Shalom.